Long story short, Ireland, expensive for Canadians, but still an amazing time. Hey, critic boxers, criticers, critic laddies. Welcome to Critic Box, where we talk about TV, movies, acting, and the whole biz and all that jazz. I'm Jared, joined with me, as always, the Silk of Cinema, Andrea. How are you doing?
Good, I'm doing my happy dance.
Doing your happy dance.
Yeah, I got some work done. I got my hair did. I mean,
I was about to say, let's clarify, you got work done.
You're right. Things are looking up in my world.
Yeah.
No, it's been a good time. It's been a good time. Second half of the summer has been going great. I did miss you, however. Can you not take off on us again? Thank you.
Well, that was I did for any of you fans keeping up with us. I was gone for 10 days in the Emerald Isle of Ireland for a friend's wedding that I got to officiate, and also just the first vacation that my wife and I have taken in about 5 years. So at the moment, and also because the Canadian dollar is weak compared to any other, actually most other currencies, we can't afford to go anywhere. So I can almost assure you that that's going to be the last vacation we have for a while.
Oh my gosh, I'm sad. Don't say it, because I'm still trying to figure out a way to be, I could travel a little bit. I want to have that in my back pocket. Not to say that I'm actually going to do it, but I want to be able to say.
You want to be able to do it. No, yeah. Not that you're gonna. I just want to be allowed to. Like at any moment, I could drop all this and go herd sheep in New Zealand or something.
Where's my flight? I want to be able to do that, or say that I can do that.
I mean, I can also tell you that flying is also, how much how it sucked before. It's gotten worse. It is, yeah. They pack you in like sardines nowadays. Anyways, but no, at any moment you can leave this country whenever you want. Yeah. Okay, but coincidentally, there is something that we did do. We saw a movie.
We did.
We saw Alien Romulus.
Yeah, we did.
Romulus de Alien. That was the French title. So yeah, this movie I have been excited about. You have been excited about. We have collectively, Sarah, in memory, was excited about Alien Romulus, directed by Fede Álvarez. I love that man. I love his style of horror. I love his practical effects. And he did not disappoint with this movie. Initial thoughts? How do you feel, Andre?
I'm also a fan of Fede Álvarez. Mm-hmm. Some very smart decisions were made in the storytelling of the movie. The horror get me? No, not so much. I'm a little jaded when it comes to horror. I'm not going to lie.
A thick scab, a thick callus that you have on your nerves when it comes to horror movies.
That was scary. Mm-hmm. But I will say that he did things in a smart way. He handled exposition in a smart way. He handled the stereotypical horror. Oh my God, this scary alien is around the corner and it's going to get one of the stars in a very smart way. He handled moving the story forward in a smart way. And I honestly think that the sets were amazing. It was a large set. It was very expansive. I don't know how space stations can look like that, but it was that was also very well put together. And I know that more production design than Fede, but maybe he had some choices in that. And I also think that the direction of Damson Idris, my AI friend,
yes,
was brilliant.
Andy, as they call him.
Yes, absolutely brilliant. Was it him in Romulus?
David Johnson, who played
Johnson.
Yeah.
Yes. I think the direction, I like seeing humans play AI. I like seeing humans play robot characters, and I love it when it's done not smart, so say, but I love it when it's done where it's just like the AI has feelings, the AI has emotion, the AI becomes lovable and endearing. And David Johnson does look like Damson Idris, and I'm waiting for the movie F1, so please excuse me, y'all. But no, he was an endearing AI character, and you didn't want what happened to him. You didn't want anything at all to happen to him. I'm not going to give you guys any spoilers, but I really enjoyed watching him, and just the way that, you know, his relationships were cultivated within that crew, because it was a very tight-knit crew, but it wasn't, and you felt for them when things were happening to them. And
yeah,
I think Fede just did an overall good job when it came to those things.
I would say, going off of Fede, of what we've known from other movies, of Don't Breathe, of The Evil Dead remake of 2012, he is good. Let's talk about the sets. He made you feel like you were in a space station that is, let's just say, complex, elaborate, but it's also tight corridors, narrow rooms, because as you would suspect, I mean, if anybody who loves sci-fi and everything, you want realism of sci-fi, is you wouldn't make large expansive rooms because that's difficult to fill with oxygen, and if things go wrong, you want to be able to shut off and isolate things into different rooms, whatever, which is very compartmentalized, literally compartmentalize a space station, which is exactly how this thing is felt, and exactly how you feel watching them navigate through this elaborate labyrinth of a space station. You feel the tightness of each room and how they have to navigate it, and that's what he's really good at. That's a lot of homage to Don't Breathe, is people navigating a dark room. Dark rooms, trying to get around things. You have to bend your body and, tuck around things or squeeze through things. You feel that. And especially with it's also an abandoned space station. Nothing to ruin, obviously, because this is in the trailers and everything. Like, they're navigating an abandoned space station. And well, it's two space stations tied together, Romulus and Remus. If you know your Roman mythology, but it makes you feel almost like claustrophobic, where like they have this big elaborate thing, but they also have tunnels and just crap everywhere, because like gravity comes on and off all the time in this place, so things are just scattered, like crates and boxes are scattered everywhere, broken debris everywhere, and they have to navigate all the way through this, and shenanigans ensue. And you felt like the tension of having to go through all of these places, like with them, and I think that's a really good way that Fede did that. And he's also good at making like a team of people, like say 5-6 people. How many were there? I mean, actually, you can literally count how many people were in there, because with looking up the cast of Alien Romulus, not that many. So like 6 people having to navigate this, and they're dynamic between each other. Like, some are great people, some are concerned about somebody, are not so great, but other people support them. Some people are complete assholes and they go about their own thing, whatever. It's dynamics and relationships between all that, and how they feel about other people in their party, whatever. That was told very well. And the feeling I got from this movie is sci-fi horror, space horror, sci-fi space horror, and it's, at its root, that's what it was, and that's what Fede Álvarez did very well. If you ever play the video game Deep Space, which, I mean, again, I'm not going to say I've only played a handful of video games that were made in this century, and Deep Space is one of, Dead Space, thank you, I'm sorry, I'm being corrected by producer. Clearly, I have not played that many games, because I don't even know the name of the damn game I'm referencing. Dead Space. It gave me Dead Space vibes. And if you don't know Dead Space, it is basically navigating an abandoned space station with horrors that are inside that you sometimes have to fight, sometimes have to run from. And
Isn't that's the basis for most video games, though.
Yes, anything that's space themed, yeah, basically, yeah, you're gonna get that. Yeah, and it was, Fede Álvarez even said, 100%. A lot of this movie is based out of the video game Alien Isolation, which was basically an abandoned space station that you have to navigate, that's filled with xenomorphs and facehuggers and all that. And that was made, and was supposed to be, because this movie takes place between, hold on, camera, Alien and Aliens, like the 50-ish years that were between that. That's where Alien Romulus is, and that's where the video game Alien Isolation is based from too. So it plays very well into that. And it feels like you're just watching a horror space themed video game unfold. And there's characters you care about, characters you don't care so much about. And then some people get it, some people don't. And at different times and different reasons. And I think that was told very well.
You know, another reason why I like the cast in this movie too is because it feels like it's the British invasion of Alien or Alien Romulus or the Alien franchise. I mean,
All British.
Yeah, I mean, Archibald is he's Brit. David Johnson, he's Brit. Spiker, he's Brit. Daniel Betts, I'm pretty sure he's a Brit as well. Yeah, he is. Like I got in there, I just heard all the accents, and I'm like, this really feels like the Beatles version of an Alien.
Well, it's basically what it's saying is that that if you're going to colonize a planet, send British. Right. They have a good, strong history of colonizing things, and we're just going to drop them all there.
And it was still keep calm and carry on the whole way.
The whole way, like, you know.
I was like, okay, this is show. I can vibe with that.
So what this movie was originally based off of, this was based off out of one deleted scene from the Aliens movie Fede Álvarez saw. I'm sorry, maybe the one of the writers, I forget their names at the moment. They saw, it was a deleted scene from Aliens where it was, kids living on a colony on this planet, like they're on little big wheels and just like skirting around the things, whatever. And they were like, what would it be like to live on these colonies on these planets that are being literally they're just there for mining purposes. Like they're either mining or farming. That's it. It's a miserable life. Miserable. There's no chance of advancement or better life, whatever. You're on a colony, so it sucks. And it's basically what it is. And so that was the motivation for these kids. And for the first, I would say 20, 30 minutes is talking about how much their life sucks because they're living on one of these colonies being run by the company Wayman. Oh, I forget their name. Where is that?
There's always a company behind it all.
Weyland-Yutani. Yeah, Weyland-Yutani Company. Basically, you could just say, like, if any major corporation you could think of right now off the top of your head, imagine if they were in charge of people's lives and creating profit on planets. How much that would suck. That's where these kids are living in. And I feel like he dropped us into it. He gave us a really good insight into what that is like. And they were like, we could just keep doing this, or we could maybe check out this abandoned space station. And they were like, hey, that's your better option? Yeah, I'd take it too. Let's go do that. Right. And I think Fede told that story really well.
And the actor that did that justice for him was the lead of the ensemble, which is Kaylee Spaney or Spain. She played Rain Carradine, and watch the movie to see what happens to her. But she really did that whole wayward child of space. Kind of, I'm orphaned. I've had to learn to adapt to a harsh environment. Mm-hmm. Very, very well.
A survivor.
Right. I just,
No, I'm not saying anything. She her personality is, I'm a survivor, I'm a fighter. Like you could say, I could safely say that.
Okay. I don't personally think that Fede Álvarez did her character justice the way he should have done her character justice to set it up. I feel like the film could have ended 10 or 15 minutes prior to when it did end. And that would have gave audiences more hype about her character and possibly what could be happening to her in the future, and actually, do a whole campaign, social media fan campaign or whatever it may be, to push for a second Alien Romulus if it's not already in the works. I mean,
Alien Remus.
I just feel like Fede could have did her better, you know what I mean? But for the majority of the movie,
you wanted more. You wanted a little bit more.
No, I wanted less.
You wanted less.
Yes. Oh. She did such an incredible job.
Yeah.
Playing her role. Mm-hmm. She stopped it earlier and created more fanfare than she's already getting because of her this movie. But she could have created a rush of people to say, we want more Kaylee. And the way he decided to end the film, he took away from that a little bit. When he decided to end the film, took away from that a little bit. That's my personal opinion. I have the majority of good things to say about this movie. for a large part of it, I was entertained. I think a lot of things went well, but at the end could have happened 10 minutes, 15 minutes before it did.
I feel like it ended the same way that Alien ended. Like, when you think it could have ended, oh, well, there's a little bit more. There's another 10-minute scene we got to do. Similar with, I guess Aliens wrapped up rather tightly, whatever. But speaking on that, therein lies my problem with this movie, which I'm going to say, love this movie. I had fun with it. It was a horror. If you want to watch a good, authentic horror sci-fi revitalization of the alien world, yes, go see this movie. I support it. I enjoy the entire thing. But after you watch it, you start processing things. If I want to nitpick, it is too much trying to be the other Alien movies. It is way too much nods, way too much nostalgia, way too much wink and nods heavily to the other movies. And I feel like that was not a Fede Álvarez decision. I feel like that is a studio decision. Because if you want to look at Ghostbusters Frozen Empire and why it flopped, is because it wasn't a new installment in the franchise. It was basically, hey, what if we made a fan service movie about the other movies? Like, it's a movie about the other movies.
I agree with you. There was a lot of that, and it felt, those parts fell flat to me.
100%. I think everybody is saying those parts fell flat because you're taking us out of the movie.
The iconic scene where the aliens all up in Homegirl's face.
Yeah,
just like we saw it with Sigourney Weaver. I'm like,
the fact that
there was some power to it. With this, we're just like...
No, because it was power, it was purpose, it was the first time ever done, it was amazing. Yeah. The fact that you're like, hey, remember this shot from the other one? Wink, wink, remember this shot? Wink, wink, wasn't that great? Or, again, when she reappears and she's holding a gun, and it's the exact same shot from the other movie, and they're like, remember this scene too? Remember this scene? Wasn't this really cool? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Or, like, when one character says the exact verbatim line from the movie that was not going to, if you're going with chronologically, is not going to be said for 30 years because it's in Aliens, but this guy's saying that exact line for no other reason. There's zero reason why he would say verbatim, line for line, this one from the other movie. Why? Why would you say, like, oh, like, you could say half the line and it makes sense. I don't want to say it because I don't want to ruin it, but it's like, why are you saying exact verbatim lines from other movies, from the other movie in the franchise when it hasn't happened yet chronologically? And also, there's zero reason. Like, you could have changed the line. You could have altered it. Why are you giving me shot for shot, line for line from the other movies when nobody asked for that shit? Okay, if you're making a movie that is in the same world, in the same universe, yes, there's gonna be similarities. There's a lot of things that I liked about that. That, like, there's like that little bird that dips down and whatever that was there. Okay, cool. It's in the same world that these other movies are in. It's fair to say that that would exist. Or other operating systems having the same thing. Androids from similar model androids will have the same sayings, and I like that part. Like, there was a line that was from another movie that the same android says, because he's the same model of android. That actually makes sense to me, that he would say a similar line or a similar thing or the exact same thing because he's an android, he's programmed. And yes, he would say that in this circumstance. Totally made sense to me. But the fact that they're saying other things the humans are saying and other like, there's 0 point, and it takes me out of it, and I feel like a lot of people got taken out of it, to the fact that we're like, studios, stop treating us like idiots and giving us the exact same shots and winks and nods and lines from other movies, because the reason I like those movies is because that was an original thing that you did in that movie. And this movie, don't just give me this, rehash the same crap, literally, just so, like, I can be like, oh, you said the thing from the other movie, that makes me like this movie more. No, it doesn't. No one is ever going to say that. No one's going to say, thank you for having the exact same thing in the other movie. I was afraid you're going to do something original. And, like, that was what I would say is a problem with that, and that's a studio problem, and it's endemic. Disney does that, and some of their movies where I'm like, you're not even being original anymore, you're literally just remaking crap, and it's never gonna hit the same way.
I understand the reason why they want to keep the nostalgia up. I mean, they want people to remember and be like, okay, this is why we watch. But I'm just like, this is an awesome, okay, do that, right? But this is also an opportunity to create your own classic moments. Like, why is there a focus on that? I mean, the only thing I found that was really freaking memorable for me in this one was there's something in the water, and
I'm like, what? Tone down the British guy.
Yeah, turn them up. Something in the water, and the fact that gravity went on and off, and there were some really cool special effects shots with that.
Yes, I mean, loved it.
But can you copy that over to the next film and say, okay, this is an iconic shot that this movie will be remembered for? No, not really. And I just really wish that there was more than that, because, you know, Fede Álvarez is a director that I feel like is more than capable of giving us something like that. Like, look at the Evil 2. You know what I mean?
Oh, beautiful.
That completely revived that franchise, his version of it. Completely revived the franchise. So why don't you just, you know, give him some opportunity to explore and be like, you know, this is how my mind thinks.
And I feel like, and again, I'm not going to fault Fede Álvarez at all for this, because again, I understand what studio pressure looks like, and I feel like he got studio pressure to add these elements in and da. What Fede Álvarez did was practical effects. He made these aliens look like they're actually a tangible thing that these guys are locked in a room with. He purposely is like, I'm not going to use CGI as much as possible. I'm not going to use CGI. I think he said, as a director, I didn't get into this business to work on a green screen, and I love that, and I appreciate that. And I think he did a really good job about that. Now, if you want to watch a horror sci-fi, watch Alien Romulus. You're gonna have a good time. If you want to understand more about the alien world that Ridley Scott keeps trying to develop, again, it left me with way more questions than answers. I get there's this. We're not gonna ruin anything because it's in the trailers. You're gonna go back to the Prometheus thing and some goo that they have to find and stumble upon. Sure. Again, there's stories that I don't want to ruin because I have questions, but in one of the trailers you see there's rows upon rows of face huggers and Ziploc bags, and they're busting out. That is never explained why or where the hell those things came from at all. And like, as even mentioned in, like, I look up, like, ooh, Easter eggs you may have missed with Alien Romulus. People are like, we still have no idea where the hell that came from or what that means. Or like, they're also altering the timeline of like when a face hugger gets on you to when something comes out of you. Apparently it's gone from days or hours to all of a sudden like, you got about 5 minutes where you got something about to come out of you. And it's like, wait, why? That isn't quite explained, because then again, in 50 years in Aliens, that's not applicable at either.
Listen, I see all you're saying. I agree with most of what you just said. I
am pushing the glasses up and getting real nitpicky and specific about his things. Granted,
there's a lot there that can be explored and that should be explained. I'm gonna keep it a little bit more base.
Okay.
I really like the themes that Fede was exploring in the film. And I found the childbirth theme to be pretty prevalent.
Oh, that was a good scene, by the way. If there's a scene I can remember, I'm going to remember from the movie. It's that one.
Yes, I found the dynamics between the relationships, like you were saying, like the relationships between the crew, the relationships with the crew and the aliens, the relationships with the crew and the androids or the artificial intelligence. I found his theme of relationships and how those can look differently between different people, and it was really good. Like, that to me is something that was well explained, and that if you focused on that more, just a tad bit more, like, it's not going to answer your technical questions about the alien story itself and where it fits into the timeline of the franchise, but it will answer the questions of, okay, well, can we possibly stomach more of this version of Alien? And I personally can. I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. And I enjoyed the popcorn while at Cineplex. So, it all added together.
Brought to you by the popcorn at Cineplex. I would say yes. I would also probably give it Depends. If you're raw coming into the franchise, if you're like, or if you're just like, oh, hey, do I just want to go watch a cool Fede Álvarez space horror movie? I would say 8 out of 10. You're going to have a good time. If you want to say another installment in the Alien franchise, it is a breath of fresh air, but I have a lot of goddamn questions in terms of how do these aliens function and who they are. It raised more questions than there was answers. I would say 7.5 out of 10. For that. So if you're coming in new and raw, 8 out of 10, you're going to have a good time. If you're coming in with previous knowledge, 7 out of 10, you're going to be more frustrated and confused.
That means it's a solid B.
Yeah, no, I get you passing. Again, I encourage it. Look, if you go watch this movie, you're going to have a good time.
Yes. In the history of this franchise, according to an Aliens nerd, which Jared very much is.
I don't mean to be nerds, but I nerds in these categories, but I am.
It's a solid B, y'all. It's a solid B.
Solid B. You know what? It's better than others. Not as good as the first two. Let's be honest. It's not going to surpass Alien or Aliens, but it's going to be a lot more tolerable than Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection or the Covenant Prometheus debacles. Yes, higher than those. So go see it. Alien Romulus.